Hey everybody, Boris, also PK Forex. Welcome to the weekly technicals for commodity dollars for January 12, 2018, Aussie dollar, dollar CAD, and Kiwi dollar. And of course, we start the new year with dollar CAD, the story of the day. I mean, certainly dollar CAD is the front and center because the numbers today were just blowout. Employment numbers were literally 70,000 better than what the market is anticipating. And this is the second month in a row we did 70,000 jobs. Just to give you an idea, all of the United States did 148,000 jobs. Canada, which is 1/10 of the population of the United States, did half as many jobs. So the potential, of course, there is much stronger than it is here. Ironically enough, this is one of the ironies of life, is that this year, while nobody is really looking, the Canadian economy has actually outperformed U.S. economy in many key specific metrics. And certainly as far as the market is looking at, the market at this point now anticipates another rate hike by Bank of Canada in January, given the strength of the economy that we have underlying. I mean, if that's the case, we certainly have a chance here for dollar CAD to go to 120, much to my dismay as I have two kids in Vancouver and have to trade the CAD against the dollar in real life. But be that as it may, that's certainly going to be, I think, the big story this week. Although as far as the calendar goes, there's literally nothing on the plate except for a little bit of Australian data for the rest of the week. So we're just going to be trading, I think, flows at this point. Now, looking at the levels, we've had a nice big run in the commodities because the commodities themselves have had a nice big run, so commodity currencies have participated. And also, of course, the anti-dollar flows have really helped. So now Aussie is trading 79 to the upside, supported 77. CAD is 126 now, resistance, and 123. That's really a very doable number. If CAD picks up steam, it could potentially be a 120 trade before the end of this month. And Kiwi at 72, coming up against a pretty decent resistance at the 72.50 level with support at 70. Looking at the calendar, as I said, the only commodity event this week is the Australian retail sales, which we are actually mildly bearish because of the drop in sales component I think in one of the PMI numbers. The market is looking for a 50 basis point gain. We'll have to see. There's been a tremendous amount of disappointment in Australian sales over the last 6 months or so, as we were seeing the same kind of a dynamic where the Australian employment numbers have been strong, but the spend has not, as you really haven't had any kind of a wage increase. So overall, that's really going to be the only event that's going to be of any material. We don't even have any Canadian data as the week goes by. So that takes us back to the charts. But the charts, I think, are very interesting. Let's start with the superstar of the story here. Here's Canadian dollar, really making a very, very strong double top at the 128.29 handle, and now moving all the way down. It still has scope to go. As you can see, we really don't have support till 2050 over here. And if you look at the weekly chart, one of the interesting things about the Canadian dollar on a weekly chart is that it tends to go in clusters of more than 3. So here's a cluster of 5 down weeks, 4 down weeks, 4 down weeks, 8, 9 down weeks. It's a very, very trending pair once it catches a bid. And certainly this has legitimate reason to believe that it has a bid, because the market now has really shifted its interest rate expectations towards a much more hawkish posture. So the possibility for us to go down, very strong. I would say of all the momentum trades this week, Canadian dollar is my favorite as far as the upside goes. Aussie dollar holding, also trading relatively well. This is a weekly chart here, 4 weeks of up moves, which is pretty strong. But we're coming up against that big resist here at around the 79 handle, just a little bit above the 79 handle, and probably could stand a little bit of a pause here. And Kiwi dollar as well, coming up against a big resist here at the 72.5. So to me, sort of the interesting trade as we start the year is the relative strength of the CAD against the other antipodeans, and therefore the trade could very well be, which we'll take a look at the crosses, of getting long CAD short one of the Kiwis or the Aussies on a relative strength basis into next week, because we don't really have any kind of fundamental data to push these guys higher, but we do have a lot of momentum to push this one lower. That's pretty much how the commodities dollar shapes up. Everything else at this point is really going to be pro anti-dollar flows as we go forward. So really not much of a fundamentally driven story here for the rest of the week. But we are coming up against decent enough technical resistance that a pause could very well be due. Wish you guys the best of luck and best trading. Boris Nossberg, over and out.